Hi guys, so in this video we're going to be looking at Act 1, Scene 7, one of my favourite scenes from Macbeth, where Lady Macbeth tries to manipulate her husband into killing King Duncan. So what's happening in this scene? Let's have a little overview. Firstly, King Duncan has arrived at Macbeth's castle. The witches have made their prophecy that Macbeth himself will become king, which has certainly spiked Macbeth's ambition, but even more so, his wife's ambition. Macbeth passed the message on to Lady Macbeth in a letter, and we saw in the last scene how she reacted to that. Lady Macbeth throughout this scene is pushing Macbeth to carry out the murder. She is manipulating and specifically focusing in on his manhood, his masculinity, to convince him to kill the king. Macbeth, though he's got ambition and certainly wants to be king, is still concerned about committing the act of regicide, that's killing the king. So as we look at this scene, there's a couple of really important words that you should know. One is divine right and the other is regicide. Now, even if you know these words before, it's probably worth just stopping and having a little look at what they mean in the context in detail. So, the first one is divine right. What does that mean? Well, kings are not elected by people, and they're not voted for, are they? So why should they rule over an entire country? Now, their argument throughout history has been that they have been given divine right from God to rule. Because they are the sons or daughters of previous kings and queens, that means God has specifically chosen them by making them being born to a previous king. He specifically chose them to be king himself. That means they are chosen by God. They're not elected by a person. They are chosen by God, an even more important role. The other word that we're looking at is regicide. In the same way that homicide is the murder of a man or suicide is to kill yourself, regicide is the murder of a king or queen. It's a specific word to describe murdering the monarch, murdering the king or queen. Now, there's a couple of examples of these, that we're going to look at. But it's important to note that regicide is both a crime and a sin. It's a crime against man because you're murdering someone, you're going against the laws that man has created. But also it's a sin. Not only are you just murdering a man which goes against the law, but you're also going against God because he has, through divine right, chosen that king to rule. Therefore, it is a sin. You're going against God. Now, as I said, the examples of this that might relate to our play, well, one of them is the Gowrie conspiracy in 1600. A man called the Earl of Gowrie and his eldest brother, Alexander Ruthven, deceived the king into meeting alone with a man, supposedly a thief, but instead this man was armed to kill King James, then only King of Scotland. This is a very famous event that nearly obviously led to his death, and something that many people wrote about and became a big public scandal afterwards. King James himself wrote many letters and many correspondence about this and the danger it posed his life. The other one, which is probably more famous that you've probably heard of, is the Gunpowder Plot, November the 5th, 1605. Now, this is something we still celebrate on November the 5th with Bonfire Night. Now, this was a plot to kill King James again. This time he was King of Scotland and England. Because of the religious trouble between Protestants and specifically Catholics who were persecuted, they felt under King James, a group of people, including Guy Fawkes, who you might have heard of, plotted to assassinate King James by blowing up Parliament, putting gunpowder under Parliament while he was in there. Guy Fawkes obviously executed afterwards, but also an important character here is a man called Catesby. This was a friend of King James and someone he trusted. Catesby was involved in this crime, in this plot, and it deeply affected King James. And some people have even suggested that the character of Macbeth could be based on Catesby himself. Alright, so this scene begins with a flurry of activity. We've got hautboys playing, which are early versions of the oboe. We've got torches, servants running around. And this is to show us that King Duncan has arrived and there's a flurry of activity to get ready for his dinner. But it doesn't start with a great flurry of activity in this one. It actually starts with Macbeth quietly delivering a soliloquy. Now, Macbeth delivers this soliloquy on the reasons why he shouldn't kill King Duncan. He gives us three main ones. The first is that it's going to come back and haunt him. Remember that regicide is both a crime, but it's also a sin. And he's talking about this crime is going to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commands the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's using this metaphor here of a poison chalice, a cup with poison in it, and saying that essentially by making King Duncan drink from this, I'm going to drink from it myself. It's going to come back and hurt me as much as it hurts him. So a good reason not to kill him is that it's going to hurt him in the long run as much as it is King Duncan. The second one is more of honour. King Duncan is both his king, but he's also in his house. So that means that Macbeth is his subject, but he's also his host. And in such, he should be protecting King Duncan. In fact, he should be protecting him twice, in double trust, as he puts it. First as his kinsman and his subject, but then against his host. Who against his murderer should shut the door, not bear the knife myself? It's his job as the host of King Duncan to keep him safe, yet he's thinking about killing himself. So it's a double trust that he's in, and he thinks he should be keeping him safe, not having these thoughts of murder. Our third one, again, is more of compassion. Duncan has been a good and honest king. Duncan is not a bad man who deserves to die. Macbeth's got no reason to kill him. So we've got an honest guy. We've got Macbeth in a position of responsibility to himself. We've got Macbeth also considering the long-term consequences that may come back to haunt him. So as well as giving us three clear reasons, Macbeth also uses some brilliant language here. He personifies pity, that the pity that people will play for King Duncan as being like a newborn babe. And he contrasts this to blowing the horrid deed in every eye. Okay, the horrors of what he's going to commit versus the pity that people will show King Duncan. Really beautiful language there, that's similarly comparing it to a newborn babe. We then finally get to what Macbeth's main point is. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. The only reason to kill King Duncan is his ambition. He has no other reason to kill King Duncan. In fact, we've seen three good reasons why he shouldn't, but his own ambition. So Macbeth knows this, and at this moment he knows that the only reason he would kill King Duncan is for his ambition. So it seems like Macbeth has made this choice then. There's no reason to kill King Duncan. He goes off to tell his wife, "We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon." And in a sense he's saying, no, we're not going to do it. He's got no reason to murder Duncan. He's just honoured him. He's just made him Thane of Cawdor. He said, these golden opinions, don't forget he's the honoured general. Everyone loves Macbeth right now because what he's done for Scotland. He's defeated Scotland's enemies in battle. And if he kills King Duncan, this glow, this pride and admiration that everyone has in Macbeth is soon going to get lost. Okay, so it shows that he wants to wear his new titles. He wants to be proud of what he's just been on and not endanger them. Don't forget that just a couple of scenes ago, Lady Macbeth said he was too full of the milk of human kindness. Now this is something for you to think about. Why does Shakespeare set Macbeth up as so brave, yet seem them to back out of his plan? Is it a weakness, or is it his loyalty for the king and for Scotland? That's something that you have to decide. But Lady Macbeth clearly thinks he's just weak. So how does Lady Macbeth respond to this? Well, as you can guess, probably not well. She firstly asked him, was he drunk when he was so brave and matched this plan? She then goes on to personify hope itself. This hope, this ambition that Macbeth has. Now, was he drunk when he had it? But now he wakes up. This hope looks so green and pale. She's personifying the hope itself, and she's basically saying, are you scared now? Right? What's wrong with you? She then, there's this line here that I love, such I account thy love. She's linking her love for Macbeth to his bravery, to his ambition, essentially saying, you're not the man I thought you were. If you haven't got the ambition to be king, I'm not sure I love you. She then goes on to ask many questions, to take what you desire, essentially, and obviously to be king, which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem. Essentially, the ornament of life here is the crown. Are you going to take the crown? Are you going to become King of Scotland? Or are you going to live the rest of your days knowing in your own mind that you're a coward? Are you going to be a king? Or are you going to be a coward? And then she's sort of mocking him, quoting him, letting I dare not wait upon I would. Why do you always say I can't after I want to? What's your problem? So Macbeth requests that she politely be quiet, prithee peace. But then he comes up with a response about her questioning his manhood. I dare do all that may become a man, who dares do more is none. And essentially what he's saying is when I fought for King Duncan, when I bravely fought and defending my king and my country, that was when I was a man. If I go above and beyond that, I'm not a man anymore, I'm a traitor. But is Lady Macbeth going to take that as an argument? Absolutely not. She questions his manhood, doesn't she, of course. Then you were a man, and then to be more than what you were, you'll be so much more than man. Right, this, don't forget, is a man who's just defeated 2 armies. He's the biggest, hardest general in all of Scotland. Everyone thinks he's unbelievable right now. He's just said that. Yet she's questioning his manhood. She's the most fearsome warrior in all of Scotland, but questioning his manhood. The absolute cheek of this is brilliant. Now, if you thought at this moment that Lady Macbeth couldn't get any more evil in your mind, well, wait for this bit. She starts talking about her child. We don't know much about her child or what's happened to him, but she says, I've given suck. That essentially means I've breastfed. And now tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. Now, at this point, we think, oh, this could be a lovely maternal moment from Lady Macbeth, and we'll see the other side of her. No. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I sworn as Sue. She's essentially saying that if I'd have said that I'd have killed my baby, if I'd have promised to kill my child, as I was breastfeeding it, I'd have plucked it from my nipple and dashed his brains out. That is some absolutely brutal emotive language from Lady Macbeth, and leaves us in no doubt of what kind of character she is and what she is capable of. And she goes on to command Macbeth to do it. But screw your courage to this sticking place. Be brave. Don't let this cowardness take over. Screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. She's not asking him here. She's commanding him. She's using an imperative to command him. It shows us this great, brave, loyal soldier seems to be completely under the control of his wife. And then she goes on to tell us the plan. This is not Macbeth's plan. This is her plan. Okay. First, she's going to get the guards drunk with wine and wassail. That's ale. So she's going to get the guards drunk. Then Macbeth will kill the unguarded King Duncan. He will leave the murder weapon with the guards, and the guards will remember nothing, and then they can blame the guards. Okay, she's planned this all out. That memory, the water of the brain, shall be the fume and the receipt of reason. This is a lovely metaphor that she uses in the middle of hatching this plan, that their memories will go up like smoke from chimneys. All right, so even in this, she's using really beautiful manipulative language, all right, to convince Macbeth not only that he should do it to be a man, but she's got the plan to do it herself. All right, so Macbeth is convinced and he's going to do it. He even says, bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted mettle shall compose nothing but males. He's talking about her undaunted mettle, her courage, her wickedness, her ambition, all those qualities that we associate with men, but she has it herself. And he's saying, well, because of that, we should only have children in the future that are men. He says, I am settled, and bend each corporal agent to this terrible feast. And he talks about this line here, which I love. Away and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know. So we've got a bit of iambic pentameter there. We've got a rhyming couplet. We've also that consonance with the F sound, the F sound. Euphony. Euphony means positive, pleasant sounds. And it shows us Macbeth is calm. That last line is fantastic as well. We've got parallel syntax. Okay, syntax is the sentence structure, and we can see they're parallel. They represent each other. False face must hide what the false heart doth show. All right, he's got to hide what in his heart he knows is wrong. And remember, all right, back to Act 1, Scene 5, when Lady Macbeth was telling him to look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. So think again to that question I asked a minute or two ago. Why does Shakespeare set Macbeth up as so brave, yet seem to back out of his plan, and now go on with this plan? Is he weak? Is he loyal? What's going on with Macbeth here? That's your opinion, obviously, but we know Lady Macbeth now has convinced him to commit this murder. Okay, so this whole scene really is the inner conflict of Macbeth, to kill King Duncan or not to kill King Duncan. Now, he gives us some reasons not to. All right, the first, that you might have to pay for this in the afterlife. Don't forget that regicide is a sin. Right, it's a sin as well as a crime. If you kill the king, you're going against divine right, you're going against God, so you're going to end up paying. Secondly, you might just not pay by God, but you might pay by someone else too. If he takes the crown using violence, someone else might do the same to him. If he kills the king, he's got to expect someone's going to try to kill him to get to him king themselves. It's just to be expected, isn't it? Thirdly, Duncan's there in double trust. Macbeth is his subject, but he's also his host. He's in his own castle. He should be protecting King Duncan, not trying to kill him. And finally, Duncan's a good and moral man. He's done nothing bad to Macbeth. In fact, he's just made him Thane of Cawdor. He's a good king. There's no reason to kill him. But Lady Macbeth comes out with all the other arguments, doesn't she? She's saying, this is a test of your love for me. Do it if you love me. Secondly, if you don't do it, it's because you're a coward. It's basically an insult, isn't it? Thirdly, I'd do anything, including apparently brutally killing her own child, if she had promised to do it. All right, Macbeth has promised to kill the king, so get on and do it, mate. Finally, it's going to be simple. I've got a plan, and she delivers the plan to Macbeth. And as we know, overall, Macbeth agrees to do it. All right, guys, thanks for watching.